Bom dia deste Yanks. So I haven't done a Vblog entry for a few days, other than the video that I did of my walk to the water. So because I've had such a great day, I thought that I would do another entry. A lot of times when I'm traveling this way, when I go away for an extended period by myself, a lot of times people will ask me, don't you get lonely? And the answer is usually no. Excuse me, as long as there's nature around, as there obviously is here, and I can get out into the nature and hike and just have that inspiration and that connection to nature, usually I'm fine. Sometimes if I'm in a city by myself for too long and I'm surrounded by all these people who are having a great time and I'm not one of them, I might be having a great time on my projects, but I'm not out socializing, having that kind of great time, then sometimes I can feel a little lonely. But anyway, I bring all that up because you would think that coming to a village where I thought there were 350 people, it turns out that's in the summer. Right now there are only 80 people or 81 people. You would think that there would be the risk of that here. But it turns out that because it's such a small community and because everyone already knows who I am, even though I've only met a few people, but just because it's so small, but also because the woman that organized the house that I'm renting, she has just been so incredibly welcoming. And so today, she was kind enough to take me to a village in the other direction where there's not a bus. I can't get there by bus, so I hadn't been there yet, called Antrac. She gave me a tour, and it's a beautiful place. A lot of rich and famous people have houses there. Really nice port. So it was nice to get there because I'd heard about Antrac for a long time but never been. Then we went swimming. I've been hiking quite a bit since being here but hadn't done that kind of physical activity, so that felt great. And then we went to a supermarket. Now what's interesting is ordinarily that wouldn't be such a big deal. In San Francisco I live a 5-minute walk from a Whole Foods. But traveling this way and being someplace like this that is somewhat remote, it's not really remote, especially if you have a car, but it is sort of out of the way. There is no grocery store, like I've said before. It's really interesting because traveling like this and living someplace like this for an extended period, even if it's just a month or in my case 2 months, it does give you an appreciation for what you have in your day-to-day. And it's not some sort of faux martyrdom. I've chosen to be here, I'm not suffering, but it is interesting that going to the grocery store, not having one here, and ordinarily having to wait a week for the farmer's market, so I can go 2 towns over, like I said before, for the farmer's market, going to the grocery store today in a real grocery store, unlike the one 2 towns over, which is very small, you really have a new appreciation for it. So that was kind of exciting. The only other thing I'll talk about that's worth mentioning is where I am with the book. And I've been thinking a lot about the process. First of all, it's been going really well. I've gotten a lot done the past few days. I feel really good about the progress that I'm making. But it's really interesting. I've been thinking, the whole process really is, and I'm not sure how to say this, but I guess it really is a reflection or an exercise in humility, because it reflects back so much on you, the creator of this work, and not necessarily just because it's autobiographical, but because, well, first of all, I'm looking at all this feedback that I've gotten from the beta readers, and most of it's very, very critical, because that's what I wanted, that's what I needed. But that is just an amazing exercise in humility and taking your ego down several notches. So first of all, you've got sort of that aspect to it. But then there's the bigger aspect, which is the need to be honest with yourself about what you've created and what you're reading. And so it's almost as if every time I go back through the novel, I have to be more honest with myself about the problems that are there that I might not have wanted to see, about, specifically about that. That's it. It's a metaphor for life. We go around in our day-to-day lives and there are things that we don't want to see, problems we don't want to deal with, shortcomings we might not want to address personally. It's exact same thing with the novel. So it's been a very interesting exercise as I go back each time I go through, just seeing things that I hadn't wanted to see because I hadn't wanted to address them. I'd hoped maybe that other people wouldn't see them, and maybe the beta readers did. And so it's like peeling back an onion, each layer getting more and more honest, until hopefully I've peeled off all the layers. It really is what it needs to be. There's not a lot more left to do. I could edit this thing until the day I die, but there's not a lot of real work that needs to be done, and hopefully once I've gotten to that level of honesty, then I've created what I hope to create, and hopefully that's something that resonates with other people. But that's sort of where I am with the novel right now, is just that, going through layer by layer, recognizing things that need to be addressed, and hopefully addressing them. And like I said, it's going pretty well. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, and until next time.